not say the angels do not die. He was quiet, and he could have, maybe even he should have, if the angels are going to die. He said, the ins and the jinn die. And he didn't say anything else. But you see, when you're going to mention this, you would typically say the ins and the jinn, the malaika. But he didn't. But mafhum and the evidences derived from mafhum are generally considered to be extremely tenuous and weak for many reasons. And he didn't mention the animals will die, even though we know they die. So mafhum is not a strong evidence in and of itself, but it is something that has been added to this list. Now, in the end of the day, not only is there no explicit evidence whether the angels will die or not, the fact of the matter, and I'm somebody to tell you this bluntly, there is no tangible benefit in knowing whether the angels die or not. It doesn't change our amal, nor did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tell us explicitly to believe in this or that. But you should know there is no evidence that the angels die at all. There is no authentic evidence. And frankly, I am sympathetic to Ibn Hazm that there's, the inhabitants of the Jannah, between the two trumpets, it has nothing to do with them. They're a different world. The trumpet has to do with our world, not the world of Jannah and the people of Jannah. Will the ghilman of Jannah die? Will the hulun ain die between the two trumpets? Not that it matters, but why would the wisdom be there? Now, somebody will say, but doesn't the Quran explicitly tell us, لِمَنِ الْمُلْكُ الْيَوْمِ لِلَّهِ الْوَاحِدِ الْقَهَّارِ? And we say, go back to the verse. Go back to the verse. Surah Ghafir, verses 15 to 17. Look it up. Allah says in the Quran, رَفِيعُ الدَّرَجَاتِ ذُو الْعَرْشِ يُلْقِ الرُّوحَ مِنْ أَمْرِهِ عَلَى مَنْ يَشَاءُ مِنْ عِبَادِهِ لِيُنذِرَ يَوْمَ التَّلَاقِ. That Allah Azza wa Jal is the one who raises the ranks, the one who owns the throne, the one who sends Jibreel to whomever He wants of His creation to warn them of the day of judgment, يَوْمَ التَّلَاقِ, the day they will meet. One of the names of Judgment Day, يَوْمَ التَّلَاقِ. يَوْمَ هُمْ بَارِزُونَ. On that day, they will be in front of everyone. لَا يَخْفَى عَلَى اللَّهِ مِنْهُمْ شَيْءٍ. Nothing will be hidden in front of Allah Azza wa Jal and them. لِمَنِ الْمُلْكُ الْيَوْمِ لِلَّهِ الْوَاحِدِ الْقَهَّارِ. To whom does the kingdom belong today? To Allah, the Wahid al-Qahhar. الْيَوْمَ تُجْزَى كُلُّ نَفْسٍ بِمَا كَسَبَتْ. Today, everyone will get what they have earned and deserved. Now, today, all of this, is this before the trumpet or after the trumpet? After the trumpet is blown, not between the two trumpets. Okay? So, to be clear, the Quran does not indicate that Allah will say, لِمَنِ الْمُلْكُ الْيَوْمِ, there will be dead silence. Then Allah will answer Himself because no one else responded, لِلَّهِ الْوَاحِدِ الْقَهَّارِ. Is that plausible to extract from the verse? Yes, it is plausible. And if you look up the classical tafsir, and I looked up one of my favorite tafsirs and one that is highly underrated, even though it is a beautiful book. It is Ibn al-Jawzi's book. Ibn al-Jawzi was a great scholar of the 500 Hijrah, 6th century of the Hijrah, and he was a polymath. He wrote books in hadith and books in tafsir and books in fiqh and books in aqidah, and he has a 9-volume tafsir, which is, I personally benefit from it immensely, and I find it to be one of the most useful tafsirs for me. It's something that is very original, and it is called Zad al-Masir. And Ibn al-Jawzi, in his Zad al-Masir, he says that this phrase, لِمَنِ الْمُلْكُ الْيَوْمِ, everybody says that this will be uttered after this world. But they have differed when upon two opinions. The first of them is that this will be said when, basically between the two trumpets, when no one will be able to respond, and so Allah will respond to Himself. لِمَنِ الْمُلْكُ الْيَوْمِ, Allah will say, لِلَّهِ الْوَاحِدِ الْقَهَّارِ. And the second opinion is that this will happen on the day of judgment, meaning after the second trumpet. On the day of judgment, meaning after the trumpet. And if you look up other books of tafsir, you find he is absolutely correct. For example, Ibn Abbas said, and this is all of tafsir of the Salaf, it's not a hadith. Ibn Abbas said, once all who are in the heavens and earth are destroyed, and only Allah is left, Allah will say, لِمَنِ الْمُلْكُ الْيَوْمِ. And no one will be there to respond. So Allah will respond upon Himself, and Allah will say, Lillahi al-Wahid al-Qahhar. And that is an opinion. Therefore, according to Ibn Abbas, therefore this is between the two trumpets. However, a number of other authorities, including Ata and Ibn Mas'ud, they said that this is going to happen after the second trumpet, meaning on the day of judgment. And Ibn Mas'ud said, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will gather all of the creation on the day of judgment. And the very first announcement to be made will be an announcer who says, not Allah, to whom does the kingdom belong today? Liman al-mulku al-yawm. And Ibn Mas'ud said, all of the creation will respond when the angel says, who does the kingdom belong to? And all of the creation will testify, Lillahi al-Wahid al-Qahhar. He totally reverses the narrative, right? In Ibn Mas'ud's version, an angel asks, Liman al-mulku al-yawm, to whom does the kingdom belong? And who responds? The entire creation responds to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So, bottom line, between the two trumpets, we do not know, and nor does it make a difference in our iman, who will still remain alive. Some have said that the entire creation will be destroyed, but there's no evidence for this. And some have said, no, only this world and its inhabitants will be destroyed. As for the angels and the people of the heavens, there is no need to destroy them. And while there is no explicit evidence, they do have the default that is the one that makes the more sense. And in any case, we conclude this section before we move on to the next one by saying what? It doesn't make much of a difference, but it is an interesting intellectual exercise, is it not? We go through and we see why people say what, and we get an understanding of why people say what they do. We'll only do another 10 minutes and then call it a day, inshallah ta'ala. The next section we're going to begin and continue next week is the issue of the hashr. The issue of the hashr. So we finished the trumpet now. The first issue on our list was the trumpet. The next is the hashr. And the hashr is clearly linked to and right after the trumpet. There is no controversy over the order of the trumpet and the hashr. Whenever the second or the third, depending on which opinion you follow, and by the way, there is even an opinion that says 4, and I just left it out because how much do you want? I mean, this is an advanced class, but not that advanced. Some ulama even said 4 trumpets. I just let that go. 2 or 3 is the one you should be knowing of. But some ulama said 4. So the end trumpet, when it is done, what is going to happen after the end trumpet? The hashr. What is the hashr?